Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. A lot of you came into my comments over the last 24 hours, maybe a little less, maybe 20 hours, and you're all going, Younes, Mason Mount, what's going on? Do a video. Listen, if I was doing a video for every single time a story broke, you'd get 5 a day. And I'm not here to be able to give you 5 a day. I can condense everything into one. I can perhaps on some days do a double upload, not a problem. But in extreme situations like deadline day, maybe a triple upload. But that's it. That's it. Chelsea are moving too quick for my liking. Yeah, and everything that's happening around Chelsea Football Club is too much. It's too much. It needs to slow down. Yeah, slow it down by half the speed, right? And I'll be up to date every time I give you one of these videos. But I'm going to condense everything that we've heard over the last 24 hours up until this moment right now in this video now. So we're going to get cracking into it. Loads to cover. Mount, Kovacic, Ugarte, Caicedo, but loads, right? Loads. Let's get right into it. Before we do, make sure you hit the link in the description. Second channel, Younes Talks. New content coming there, as I've already said, imminently. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Let's get cracking. Starting off with the big elephant in the room, Mason Mount and Mateo Kovacic. I'm going to start with Kovacic because I've not actually got a screenshot for him here. His situation is very clear, right? It's very clear. Kovacic has been approached by Manchester City. Negotiations are well and truly underway, almost completed. He is 99% going to become a Manchester City player. That, for some people, might be weird. Some Chelsea fans might be looking at it and going, why are we giving Manchester City a player, right? We have to be honest with ourselves right now. Where we are, we're not in a situation where we're going to have club after club after club coming after players like Mateo Kovacic. It's just not going to happen. And for the money that we need money here, right? This is a big money operation. It's all about the money. It's all about the dosh, yeah? So we're trying to recoup as much as possible. It's going to come, decent sums are going to come from the bigger teams. It's as simple as that. We have to remember the rest of the continent are not doing so well financially. You're going to get a lot of attraction coming from the Premier League, which means automatically that we're going to have to be selling to rivals, knowing that we're going to be shifting a load of these players that are at the end of their time at Chelsea, let's be honest, and before the transfer window kicked in, we were all talking about players like Kovacic possibly moving on. Well, here we go. It's happening. You take it or leave it. Let's take it. Simple. So Kovacic off to Manchester City. I don't think he'll be playing every week. I think Pep Guardiola will use him as a rotational player. Kovacic is a sort of player that you would love to have in your team when you need to add a little bit of spice. Yeah, I've said this. When you need to bring someone on for last 30 minutes of a game, right, to be able to shift the midfield a little bit, determine some of the positioning, dictate the tempo a little bit, drive maybe a little bit more aggressively, get stuck in a little bit more defensively, that little bit of spice, right? Kovacic is the man. Manchester City have all the foundation, all the players like KDB, Bernardo Silva. They don't need Kovacic in their starting 11. They need Kovacic to be able to come on and supplement them. We don't need supplements. We need all-round, ready-made midfielders that are going to be the main guys. Kovacic is not that guy. As much as I love Kovacic, I think overall I like Kovacic. You've seen my lineup and my previews. Whenever he's been available, I'd shift him in ahead of a Loftus-Cheek or a Gallagher, and it's understandable. It's understandable why. At his heyday under Thomas Tuchel, the man was a machine. But he's come to the end. It's as simple as that. Football works in cycles. We move on. He has to move on. Okay. Man City are going to come in. They're the only club interested. We sell. Simple as that. So Kovacic is moving on. I wish him the best. And when it comes to it being official, then we'll give a proper goodbye. But right now, Chelsea are in a position where we need to transform this midfield. This midfield is a big problem. We need to be able to identify players that are going to come in and be the main men. Right? Enzo is going to be a main man. Ugarte, if we get him, is going to be a main man. Caicedo, main man. You know, these are guys that are going to come in and cement themselves. And then we have the others. Santos, Chukwuemeka. They're there. They're in the squad. You know, Perfect. Midfield sorted. So that's what we aim to do. If we're going to go in that direction, we have to let go of the others. And that includes some people's star boy, Mason Mount. That is the truth. Simple as that. Now, I've said this time and time again, right? I don't mind Mason Mount staying. If it came to it and we brought in quality, I don't mind Mount sticking about. I don't. But if a club comes in for him and offers the money, no problem. Ultimately, it's not even come down to that. Ultimately, it's come between the club and Mason Mount. Can you even form a negotiation? Can you even come to an agreement yourselves to have a new contract? Because without that, forget everything. They've not been able to. So, forget everything. Man United are interested and they've made their moves. Here's the latest by Fabrizio Romano. Mason Mount keen on joining Manchester United as talks are taking place behind the scenes. No issues on personal terms, but deal not advanced yet. There's a big gap between the clubs. Chelsea keep asking for at least €80 million fee for Mount. Deal not imminent at this stage. This will get done. This will get done, right? I heard a lot of the people coming on yesterday and they were saying, Mason Mount has agreed personal terms. That's all done and dusted. Maybe to an extent, yes, maybe that's done. But officially, not yet. However, the fee is what needs to be sorted. The fee needs to be done between Chelsea and Manchester United. Chelsea, as Fabrizio said, €80 million. Let's call it £70 million, right? Man United are offering 45 to 50. United, not good enough. Not good enough. Up it. Up it. You got the money. Because, look, we know you have the money. You're splashing 100 million out on Anthony, right? 80 million on Maguire. You're splashing all sorts of money. You're offering Mason Mount. You've agreed personal terms in about 5 minutes. Chelsea have been trying to get personal terms done with this guy for months. He's been trying to get personal terms done with Chelsea for months. They've not come to a conclusion. You lot rock up, 5 minutes, boom, it's done. Clearly, you've offered him a lot of money. So, pay up. You want Mason Mount? 70 million, please. And this is what I've said. I've said if Chelsea are going to entertain this sell, get as much as possible. He is a player that should be getting you about 70 million. It's a correct fee. I don't blame Chelsea for putting that price tag on. Not a chance do I blame Chelsea for that. I think it's a correct fee. We can't... The whole point of Chelsea allowing Mason Mount to go comes on the basis of the whole FFP situation and balancing the books and not trying to get into a loss for a third year in a row, because then we'll be punished. The fact that Mason Mount generates pure profit as an academy player that we didn't have to pay for means that if we get as much as possible, we get as much profit as possible, which is going to help the club. Unlike letting a Kovacic go, for example, we paid money for Kovacic in the first place. You know what I mean? So when you look at the net profit, it's not going to be anywhere as close. Mason Mount or any academy player, Loftus-Cheek, Gallagher, all of these guys, pure profit. Mason Mount will recoup the biggest. So of course, Chelsea should slap a big fee. Without question. Man United, you got it. Pay up. You want Mason Mount? Pay up. Pay up. You've got it. Give it to us. So there's that. As I've said, for me, my personal opinion on Mason Mount, I'm not gutted. I see people, and look, everyone has their favourites, everyone has their opinions, I respect it. Some people absolutely love Mason to the moon and want him to stay and think he's the best thing since sliced bread. Some people despise Mason Mount and want him gone. If they could, they'd kick him out the window, right? You got loads of in between as well. Me personally, as a professional, as who he is as a person, I respect him and I love the guy. I think he's a top tier professional. I think he puts his head down, he works. In terms of what you want in the squad as a player, you know, away from the pitch, just as how he works as a professional, the best of the business, without question. His ability on the pitch, I think for me, is overrated compared to how some people portray him to be. He's not Eden Hazard. Some people are actually making him look like to be Eden Hazard leaving to Manchester United for 70 million or 50 million or whatever it's going to be, right? That's not the case. That's not the case. And let me tell you what I think now, and people can clip this if they want. When he moves to Man United and we see him at Man United, I don't think he's going to blow up. I don't think... Some people are scared of a KDB situation. There's a fundamental difference. We've had Mason Mount for a good 3 to 4 years now. Since Frank Lampard came in the first time, we've had Mason Mount in this team. And he's played consistently. We know exactly what he brings as a player. When KDB was at Chelsea, he hardly played. He played a few minutes here, few minutes there. Maybe started 1 or 2 games, that was it, and then he was gone. We didn't really know, but we had Fabregas. We had a midfield that was operating. We won the title. So we let him go. We let Salah go. Salah, same situation. He's played a few games, scored against Arsenal. Everyone had a whoop-de-doo. He left, went to Roma, and then eventually blew up and ended up at Liverpool and became flipping Premier League Player of the Year, right? That's what happens with Mason Mount. No, we know everything about him. I would have been more concerned about Mason Mount if he'd gone to Liverpool. Because I think Klopp has a way of using Mason Mount with which aligns with his strengths. And what Mason Mount brings as a player, his strengths, I think, work in a Liverpool system, in a Klopp system. That's where I'd be concerned, because I think he would alleviate their midfield even further. At Man United, as a standard 8, with Bruno Fernandes, maybe Casemiro for maybe not that much longer, and then they're going to have to get another DM or whoever they're going to get, don't know. But I think you're going to see a similar amount at United that you saw at Chelsea. So for me, not a big deal. Not a big deal. 70 million, not a problem. However, I wish him the best, and I don't wish him too much because he's gone to Man United, let's be honest. It is a direct rival, and some people have a problem with that. At the end of the day, we need to look at ourselves. If we get the players that we need in this midfield and it works, then we've got no reason to be bothered about whether Mason Mount blows up or not. Because as I said, I don't think he will. I think he'll do all right. Just like at Chelsea, I think he's done all right. That's it. Some people are going to say, Player of the Year, Player of the Year. For the first one, yeah, deserved completely. The second one, amongst a bad bunch, as far as I'm concerned, or mediocre bunch. And we've seen the way that this Chelsea team has gone in terms of direction. It's just gone absolutely ridiculously horrific, right? Ridiculously horrific. Some people portray Mason Mount's Player of the Year to be that of, oh, he won Player of the Year in a team of KDBs and Mo Salahs. And, you know, he won in and amongst flipping class like Bernardo Silva. No. Unfortunately, no. He won it amongst what was operating as a mediocre bunch. And we have to be honest, that's how Chelsea have been operating. So, with that, I say good luck, but not too much luck. Let's wait and see when it does become official. But Man United have to pay up. Now, we've spent a good portion about Mason Mount. This is going to be a long video, so strap yourselves in. Let's move right along to the midfield situation and what's going on in terms of the players we're trying to bring in. Here's Fabrizio. In the next days, I think Chelsea will try and attack this situation. About Caicedo, also goes on to say, Chelsea had new contacts today with Sporting and Ugarte. Let me say again that Caicedo is in the list. It's Ugarte and Caicedo. That tells you everything you need to know. We're going to be shifting these midfielders along. Kovacic is gone. Mason Mount is going. Loftus-Cheek is gone. Are we going to get Gallagher gone? Are we going to get all these guys gone, right? Ugarte comes in. Brilliant. Caicedo comes in with him. Brilliant. But as long as we get those two, then pair up with Enzo, I think we've transformed our midfield. We've got Carney Chukwuemeka as well. We've got Andre Santos as well. They're going to be the ones that you could say are backups. Casadei, you know, the Italian 19-year-old. Could he come back up from his loan and perhaps play a role? Will he have one more loan? We'll wait and see. But this is a transformation that I think Chelsea need in the midfield. We absolutely need this. And it's nice to know that we're going after both. Now, in relation to Ugarte, and I did tell you that I thought Chelsea's offer in terms of salary was a joke, ridiculous. But I did say that don't come to a conclusion just yet. If this is Chelsea trying to go low to then offer him slightly more and then come to a good conclusion, then happy days. That's an old school business tactic, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when it works in your favour. I did say that if they were literally just offering 2 million euros a year and sticking to that and going, no, this is it, then I think that's an insult. And I think it's stupid. Well, we have the latest in regards to this. Here it is from Felix Johnston and RJP Journalism. Check this out. So RJP Journalism says, have confirmed Chelsea have improved wage offer for Manuel Ugarte following more discussions between the two clubs today. This offer is closer to the verbal terms at the weekend. PSG still in the race, but Pochettino very keen and has been in contact with Ugarte to express this. Felix Johnston comes out after and says, can confirm Chelsea have improved the wage offer to Ugarte. Have not been told what it's been raised to or how it compares to PSG, but I'm told Chelsea are getting more confident. And that is what I wanted to hear. And this is why I said don't come to the conclusion just yet, because there is a chance Chelsea might eventually just bump it up a little bit more, tempt the player a little bit more, and get it done for less than what PSG are offering, just because we have the leverage that he wants to play in the Premier League and he wants Chelsea more than PSG. We have that leverage. Offer him somewhere closer to what PSG are offering and he will accept. Now, 30k a week compared to 83k a week, big margin. He currently earns £11,000 a week at Sporting Lisbon. Bump it up to 30, yeah, you know, in terms of on paper with those figures, it's a better offer. But in terms of Chelsea, Premier League, top-end club, compared to what PSG are offering, it's an insult. So you look at, yes, bringing the wage structure down, sorting that out, absolutely agree. But 50k, 60k, I think that's fair. He deserves that at least. You're playing at Chelsea, you know, not at Bournemouth, with all due respect to Bournemouth, but Bournemouth have financial issues. They get most of their revenue on a match day in a very small stadium, you know. So if this was Bournemouth and they were offering 30k, I'd understand, not a problem. But this is Chelsea. We can afford to give him 50 or 60k a week. So if we're getting closer to that number, I think he will accept a lower wage with Chelsea than PSG, just because he'd be coming to Chelsea, Pochettino, new project, Premier League, compared to PSG. Win League 1 every year. Almost. Might get to a Champions League quarter-final. Doesn't seem to go beyond that very often. So there's more excitement with the Chelsea project. Let's hope Ugarte does actually end up signing and it all gets done and dusted. Now, we've got an offer. We have an offer for one of our players. Who is it? It's an interesting one, I have to say. I wasn't expecting this, but it's come in and I have to say, I'm tempted. Here it is. Breaking! Inter Milan are pushing to sign Trevor Chalobah for £25 million. Inter are in communication with Chalobah's camp every day and are accelerating their efforts. This has come out of left field. And some people are going to say, no, it's too low. It's too low. No, it's not too low. We need to take as much as we can get right now. It would be crazy to jeopardize this offer to try and bump it up to 35, to turn Inter Milan off, and then we still have Chalobah when we could have got 25 for him. We're trying to recoup as much money as possible and trying to trim the squad down. When we look at our centre-back options, there is Thiago Silva, there is Badiashile, there is Fofana, there is Koulibaly, that is one that could end up leaving as well. We'll see what happens. And there's Levi Colwill, who is possibly coming back into the Chelsea squad, and Pochettino does want to keep him. So when you're looking at that, where does Chalobah fit? You know, yes, he might be used here and there. We don't need an extra right back anymore. We've got Gusto coming in. So we can afford to let Chalobah go if an offer came in that was substantial, 25. What I would do is try and maybe talk to Inter Milan and go, how about 30? You know, try and get as much as possible, but don't be ridiculous. Don't ask for 40. Don't do something stupid. You know, don't turn them off. You know, they've already finessed us by getting Lukaku on loan after selling him for what, 100 million or whatnot. No more finessing, right? But let's try and get some of their money for Chalobah. That would be very beneficial. If we can try and bump it to 30, I think that would be a deal. 25 is even a deal, honestly, for Chalobah. I think that's fair. So let's wait and see what happens there. Let me know your thoughts in relation to that story. That's an interesting one. We move on to another latest. This has come from The Guardian. Quoting, it is likely that Pochettino will give Colwill a chance to show he can compete. Chalobah and Koulibaly could leave, as we've already discussed Chalobah, and I've already mentioned Koulibaly. Additionally, Conor Gallagher is attracting interest and Callum Hudson-Odoi will be allowed to leave. Thank goodness, right? Not for Callum. Callum was always going to leave anyway. But if Gallagher is attracting interest, please let us entertain that interest immediately. You know, it's like if you're somewhere, someone sees you and they like you, right? And you notice it. I'm going to entertain this immediately. Go straight in. Hello, how can I help, right? If someone wants Gallagher, how can we help you? Would you like a tea or a coffee? Let us have this discussion with cakes, perhaps, right? Bring all you want to the table. Conor Gallagher needs to go. So far as I'm concerned, needs to go. I don't mean that in a condescending way towards Conor Gallagher. As a player, I'm sorry. He needs to depart. Done. Gotta be ruthless now, just like Matisse was in his video. Shout out to Matisse. Do check out his chopping board video. He decided to look at the entire Chelsea squad, 44-man squad, and chop half of it. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. But you gotta be ruthless now. We have to be ruthless, and that's absolutely true. Conor Gallagher needs to move on. So if there are clubs interested, let us entertain. Callum Hudson-Odoi, another one that will generate pure profit. I don't think we'll get much money for him because he had a terrible loan at Bayer Leverkusen. Didn't work out very well. But we'll see what happens in terms of these two players and how much we can get for them. I'm sure we'll get news in the next 24 hours because news is kicking off everywhere. Things are happening behind the scenes. Let's get into the latest with Levi Colwill. Check this out. Chelsea have rejected a £30 million bid for Colwill from Brighton. That came out yesterday, this morning, but there were whispers yesterday night. What do I think of this very, very quickly? I have to say, it's a low offer. I don't want to say it's a stupid offer. I understand what Brighton are trying to do, and this is Brighton, let's be real, right? They're not exactly Real Madrid, right? They're going to try go low first, see what happens, and then maybe work their way up. But the difficulty they're going to face is that Chelsea and Pochettino absolutely want to keep Levi Colwill and want to include him into the first team squad for next season. So it's not exactly like we might entertain to sell him because we might loan him. Like, no, he's in the squad. Poch wants him. So it depends on the player. Do you want Chelsea or do you actually want Brighton? If you want Brighton, we try and get as much money as we can for you. If you want to stay at Chelsea, well, we won't entertain any bid from Brighton. But 30 million is Brighton testing the waters. And I understand it. As I've said, some people are going, Brighton, who do they think they are? Come on, it's Brighton. You know, yes, they're making progress. They've just qualified. They've just made European football for the first time. The first time, if I'm right, unless they did it years and years and years, decades ago. But in modern history, they've not done it. So they're not exactly looked at as a big club. Of course they're going to be offering things like 30 million. That's normal. I'm not insulted. They have to try. It won't work, but they have to try. So Levi Colwill to stick around, immediately rejected, and I completely understand and I agree. Now, we're going to end with some news from elsewhere. This is the latest on Karim Benzema. Breaking! Karim Benzema will leave Real Madrid this summer after 14 seasons and 24 trophies to join the Saudi Pro League, per multiple reports that came out earlier on. Benzema didn't entertain it. He did speak. He done an interview, if I'm not mistaken. And he said, yeah, we've got a game on Saturday. I'm still in Madrid. We've got a game on Saturday, you know. But he is going to be going. He will be joining Al Ittihad, who are the Saudi champions. They've just been crowned champions. So we might have, as I've said, Ronaldo at Al Nassr, Messi at Al Hilal, who is leaving PSG, by the way, and that's official, and Benzema at Al Ittihad. It's going to be crazy. Maybe Kante goes to a fourth team. Maybe every team gets a big player. Saudi are doing their business, and fair play to them. They are going to get that World Cup in 2030. Let me just tell you that now. It's definitely going to happen, I think. So, and in other news to end, this is big. This is big. For Arsenal, this is big. Check this out. Arsenal official bid for Declan Rice will be submitted after the Europa League final. Plan very clear. This is going to be very interesting. And this is Arsenal making the moves that they need to make if they want to think of trying to win the title. They came very close this past season and they threw it away. They bottled it. They need to have a good summer and upgrade some of their positions to get their team to become a proper title challenging team. Not just a title challenging team, a title winning team. They have to make that next step up. It's not easy, but it can only be done one way. And that's if you refine some of your positions that you need to refine with better talent coming into your team. They got second and they got it, you know, not too far away from Man City with quite a young squad. fair play. But you get players like Declan Rice, or you get someone like Gundogan, or you get someone, coming in that is fairly decent, that will add to your squad, then you have to start talking about Arsenal potentially winning the title next season. You have to, because that's the right thing to do. Arsenal going for Declan Rice, I think is a very, very good move for them. It depends how much, though. West Ham are not going to budge. Let me just tell you this, as a Chelsea guy, look, we had our go trying to go for Declan Rice. Good luck sorting out the money. That's all I'm going to say, because West Ham are not exactly going to let you have him for £5.50, right? They're going to ask for a substantial fee. Let's just leave it at that. We'll see when the figures come out, but your bank account's going to get hurt. Let me just say that. But it's the player that Arsenal might actually need. So let's wait and see what happens there. Let me know your thoughts on Declan Rice to Arsenal. Would you be afraid of Arsenal if they got Declan Rice? Would you not? Let me know down below. And it does seem like Declan Rice and Mason Mount are just not going to play together, are they? They're just not. Maybe for England, not at club level. It's just not going to happen unless something happens in a few years. But right now, unless Man United went for Declan Rice as well, do you think that could happen? Let's wait and see. Thank you so much for watching. If more news breaks, as I've said, don't worry, you'll get my thoughts tomorrow. So, unless something huge shows up, you'll get an immediate video. I will make the time, but you'll see me tomorrow, so make sure you guys are here. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this extra long video because of all these stories. And I will see you tomorrow for a brand new one, people. Thank you all so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Take care and peace.